Yeah, we're live. All right, cool, cool. That looks all right. That looks. Yeah, it's kind of laggy, but should be cool. Should be cool. All right. I like totally didn't announce that I was like doing a stream today. So, hey, what's up, Adam? That was wow, fast. How you doing, bud? So because I didn't do a stream last week, I actually have a huge pile of comics here. Um, yeah, you know what's weird? It's the camera. It's it's actually very kind of like vibrant green in real life, but yeah, no, it's I guess on camera it's all like Zack Snyder green. Oh, vacation. Oh, sweet, nice. That's what's up. Um, Thanksgiving or your Hanukkah, one of those, or just vibing. Also, Jaya. Yeah, the Blue Beetle came out this week, and I didn't read it because my local comic shop didn't get it. Um, Hopefully, I'm gonna like special order it, so hopefully I get to read it. This is like definitely something that I've been like looking forward to. I'm like a big Jaime Reyes fan. Um, like now I'm a Jaime Reyes fan. Um, I was like, I don't know. Growing up, I like wasn't a big fan of Jaime. Probably because like it was really the art. I didn't like Cully Hamner's art because I was like a retarded like 9-year-old. I said weird taste when I was 9. I thought the art was like too kiddie, and I was like, yeah, this sucks. This is made for kids. Um, but I liked him in other things that I read, and then I fell in love with Jaime as soon as like the freaking universe got rebooted. So, um, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I really like Jaime, so I'm definitely gonna check out Graduation Day. Um, Appets? Hey, hey, what's good? How you living? Can I request? Can I request for you? Sure, you can always request for me. Sorry, my light did a weird thing. Can you show all of your anime shirt collection in your live stream now? Thanks. Um, all of my anime shirt, like specifically anime, like specifically anime, because I have a bunch of like graphic tees, but yeah, I don't know if I have a bunch of like anime t-shirts. I know for a fact I have. Let's see. I have a Berserk T-shirt, but that's like my girlfriend's. I just kind of stole it because I started watching Berserk and I love it. Anime T-shirt only. Okay. Yeah. Damn. Damn. Yeah, I think the only one I have is like a Berserk T-shirt, and like that's is it? I think it's like in my laundry somewhere. Wait, no, wait, technically, gross. Don't get my clean clothes and my dirty clothes. It's bad. All right, proper segregation. Always keep your cleans and your dirty separate, like a good old segregationist. All right, so technically, this is an anime shirt now. It's an Edge Runner T-shirt, from Cyberpunk, 2077. Can you see it? I think my girlfriend got this for me from like GameStop. I've worn this in streams before too. And the other anime shirt I have is like, am I so rancid? Am I so gross as to dig through my laundry to show the internet my dirty t-shirts? Yes. Actually, you know what, dude, I really don't know where my other Berserk t-shirt is. I think I might have left it at her house. But Yeah, I only like have two. It's just like it's just the Berserk T-shirt and the Cyberpunk 2077 T-shirt. I probably am gonna get some more anime T-shirts after Katsucon, which will be in February. I'm looking to just oh, that I don't know what that was, but whatever that is, that's my wallet, and my wallet is going to expel cash for random crap that I don't need in my house. But yeah, I'll take some recommendations for T-shirts. You know, I will definitely be down for that. Adam says most of my classes are online. Oh, I can't even like give you any crap for that because most of my classes were online in my final semester too. So it'd be like that. Oh, what's up, Supreme? How you living, bro? Jaya says also the new JSA book is going in an interesting direction. Yeah, I like flipped through it in my comic shop. First of all, Mikel Yanin is just gabagool, just perfect. I love Mikel Yanin's artwork. Like, also that design that he did for Huntress is like the definition of yes. Like, you know, when you see something and you're just like, yes, that's yeah. In fact, all the redesigns for the JSA and Earth 2 were like on point. I loved it. Shut up, you're wrong. But all the redesigns I thought by Mikel Yanin for the Justice Society were on point. Like visually, it's a great looking book, but when it comes to like the story and like some of the like. What the fuck is Jeff Johns doing? Like, So... Okay. So the Justice League does not exist in Earth 2. I'm assuming this takes place in Earth 2, or, like, some type of version of Earth 2. So he's kind of bringing back that old, like, pre-crisis idea that Earth 1 is home to the Justice League and all those characters, and Earth 2 is home to the Justice Society with all the Golden Age characters. So that's an interesting idea. It's just I don't think the story's being transparent with that. Like I don't know. It's just Oh, I do have a My Hero Academia shirt. Also not on me. That is at my girlfriend's house. Yeah, I visited her family for Thanksgiving, and I like had I have all my anime T-shirts in her house. Great, brilliant. You know, I'm gonna do like actually hold on a second. Wait, no. Isn't it? Maybe it's in here. I have like this. I have a super cool bed. It's like a Schlatt bed, or whatever the hell they call it in Sweden. It has like drawers. It's so cool. But I have like a My Hero Academia T-shirt. It's like from season 1. You like just reminded me of that. That's awesome. Thank you. And I know I didn't watch it because it's like, I don't know. Crap. Well, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna like find it as soon as I'm not looking for it, and then I'm gonna be like super mad at myself. What's up, Tevia? But oh right, sorry. Adam, right? Who asked me about JSA? No, it was Jaya. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm just very confused about the direction that Jeff Johns is like trying to go in with this whole like Earth 2 thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. He's also doing some like Jeff Johns has what I call Jeff Johns isms. um, where he sometimes feels the need to explain things that don't require an explanation. Just like I, I forgot who like said this like a couple weeks ago. Someone made a joke about Peter David doing that. I can kind of see that after like reading some more Peter David, not Peter David, Kurt Busiek. Kurt Busiek doing that. I don't know. I got them mixed up because I was watching a video about Peter David earlier. Which, by the way, major pour one out for Peter David. He's not dead, but he does require a lot of medical attention. So, if you can, donate to his GoFundMe. Peter David's a great guy. He's a wonderful creator. So many classic stories that I grew up with, that you probably grew up with, told by him. In fact, I'm gonna put this in the chat. Let me see. This is the man who like made like a whole corner of the fucking Marvel universe with the 2099 universe. And like that's just gonna be adapted in like a major motion picture like later this year. It's just like kind of unacceptable that he has to like e-beg. I don't think that's cool at all, bro. So here's a link to the GoFundMe for Peter David. I donated to it earlier today. So if you can, go for it. But yeah, just good vibes to him and his family. Hey, what's up? Eat some oranges. How you living? How you doing? You know what happens? I'm gonna do a special video just for you. I'm gonna in fact, no, next week in next week's stream, I'm just gonna show up and just strip in like every new layer of like shirt is just anime shirt. I'm gonna do that just for you. You deserve it. I'm This is the part where like you do the weird little hook hand thing. Most people do this now. I see a lot of people do this now. Hannah Uwu does this. I mean, aesthetically Hannah. Shut up. Anyways, Adam says the recent Blue Beetle and Booster Gold run was very good. Is that the Dan Jurgens book? I see that came out in trade. I like Dan Jurgens a lot. I just didn't check it out because I have all these other comics that I'm buying and reading. So it's money. That's what it came down to. Supreme, hey Mystical Rimini, I've been reading John Lewis's Robin run. John Lewis. I know that name. Am I thinking of John Ridley? Who is a great screenwriter. I love John Ridley's film scripts about as much as I absolutely detest his comic book writing. John Lewis. Former United States representative? Maybe I got someone wrong. Alright, John Lewis. Oh, I did the wrong John. That's why. Oh, this is the, is this, when Pete Woods was doing the art? It is. This is that, like, era where, spoilers, Robin, right? Yeah, I didn't read a lot of that material, mainly because I did not like Stephanie Brown growing up. I was one of those heretics. But you think it's really good? Okay. It's underrated because it has to follow Dixon's 100-issue run. That's probably what it was, too. Honestly, Lewis is the best Tim Steph writer. He really builds into them as a strong couple. If I look into this, and I like spend money on this, and it's bad, I will find you. I will find you. I will find you. No, it's so good. I won't go full Michael Shannon. I'll just go half Michael Shannon, which is just, I guess Michael Shannon from the Waterfish movie, the not furry. It's like a scaly. Is this like Guillermo del Toro's like reboot or like remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon? What was that movie called? Fuck. I'm gonna look up Guillermo del Toro movies. Shape of Water. That movie's Shut up. Hey, that's Greg. Should we answer a call from Greg? Alright, hold on a second. Hey Greg, you're on speaker. I'm streaming. What's good?
Today's Wednesday. You streaming today?
Yeah. Say hi, Greg.
Greg says hi. Yeah, no, I was actually going to ask you, talk to you about something else, but what are you guys streaming about?
Well, let's see. Appet's been Seaman, Seenan, is requesting me to find all my anime shirts, which I am having a hard time doing. And I just talked endlessly about the JSA like reboot, or I guess relaunch from Jeff Johns and Mikel Yanin. Did you read that, by the way? You're not a Jeff Johns fan. I keep forgetting that.
You know, the man his work is spotty at best.
Oof.
He's no Jack Kirby. Oh wait, no, he's no, why did I like compare him to the
You just went to Jack Kirby? Like, I mean, that's a high bar. I don't think anyone's really Jack Kirby.
Yeah, no one's comparing Jeff Johns to, I don't know why I did too. It was just literally the first comic book name that came to mind, and I was like, no, you don't compare like a guy like Jeff Johns. You compare him more to like someone like Tomasi, like Peter Tomasi.
I mean,
he's no Peter Tomasi.
I would compare Jeff Johns to like Roy Thomas, in like a good way.
And you compare him to, I don't know why, literally Jack Kirby was like the first name that came to mind, so that's why I said it. I was like, no, what the hell am I doing? You don't compare Johns to Kirby.
Oh, Derpy501 says hi. You have one fan, and I'm using that term very lightly.
Hello back to the gentleman who said hello to me. Thank you for saying hi.
But yeah, I don't know. Jeff Johns is. Yeah, he is. We can go down like a whole Jeff Johns rabbit hole. I don't hate Jeff Johns the same way that you hate Jeff Johns. I just have like issues with what he kind of turned into.
Jeff Johns. I just think the man was given way too much power over DC, and he clearly doesn't possess the necessary. I just don't like. Maybe hate's a strong word, but there's this extreme dislike for a lot of what he's done. Like some of the Aquaman stuff was okay, and I've also said that some of the stuff he did with Green Lantern was like good, save for the fact that he like elevated Hal Jordan at the expense of Kyle Rayner, even though arguably Kyle Rayner is like, in my opinion, like the best Green Lantern there's been.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you.
Boring as fuck sometimes.
That's like a whole thing. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that thing that a lot of people say, that Hal Jordan was at his most interesting when he went villainous, which not a lot of people like to admit, but it's also one of those things where it's like 50-50, like, oh yeah.
Well, like, I think the whole Parallax Saga, in a weird way, after like finally getting my hands on some of it, because it's out of print now, because the dude who wrote it is in jail for cheese pizza.
Wait, like Chuck E. Cheese style?
Yep. Oh, Chucky with the extra cheese.
Ah, damn it.
Yep. Comics, dude. It'd be like that. Never meet your heroes. Um, but
I don't know about that. I mean,
well, I mean, I met Jim
no,
Starlin.
yeah,
Jim
no, you're
Starlin's
right.
pretty
You're right.
cool.
Never meet your heroes. You're right.
Um, but yeah, no, like I got my hands on some of that material. Um, it's weird how like Emerald Twilight is kind of like a better version of Injustice.
Mm,
It's
I'm
kind of
sure.
like Injustice but like good. Um, I guess like that's my hot take.
Yeah. I mean, no, you're not necessarily wrong. It's just people like people. That's the problem with Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns was like, no, I want to bring back. I just want to retcon everything that happened during the '90s and early 2000s. I just want to retcon it all, and it's like, no, you son of a bitch. Kyle Rayner and Jon Stewart made Green Lantern as famous as they were. Like, legitimately, if you were going to do Green Lantern, you do Kyle Rayner, Jon Stewart, or even Guy Gardner. Hal Jordan is just such a fucking, like, uninteresting character. When he's a good guy, he's kind of a dope. When he's a bad guy, though, he's like, there's something there.
And you know what? For that, I'm going to report to you that Derpy says he is not a fan of you at all.
Of my take on Hal Jordan.
No, just in general.
Does that mean he's like listened to like a bunch of the streams from like a while back?
I don't know. Hey Derpy, you checked out the streams from a while back,
Like,
or
what's
just
that?
dialing in? I think it's because I like spoke for Derpy, and Derpy's like fuck off, which is totally fair. I feel you. I feel you. It's all good. But
Well,
yeah.
I mean, hey, that's just my opinion. Derpy or Derby? It's Derpy, right?
Yeah, it's Derpy 501st.
Okay, well, that's just my opinion. I hate. I'm not a huge fan of Hal Jordan. Like, a lot of people would say the same thing. Like, it's,
Oh,
Hal Jordan's not a.
he does agree with you though. He says that that Jon Stewart would be cool to see.
Wait, so Derpy thinks that Jon Stewart would be cool? Because Jon Stewart would be cooler, but like, in my opinion, the best Green Lantern has always been Kyle Rayner. Like, I started out as a Kyle Rayner fan, like, because I'm a 90s kid like you. Like, the early 2000s, 90s, 2000s, and all that, that was Kyle Rayner's time. He became one of the coolest, like, mainstays, plus with, like, Brian Vaughn's, like, JLA, you know.
Oh wait, I misinterpreted Derpy. Derpy said they're not a fan of the Snyderverse, but they didn't say they're not a fan of you though. They're not a fan of you, but they're not a fan of you.
Okay, well, but
You should start an OnlyFans, and Derpy will. I'll make a new account for Derpy. That is that is like your account on your
okay,
OnlyFans.
but I'm confused though. Does Derby like Hal Jordan or does he not like Hal Jordan?
I don't know. Derpy's talking about the Snyderverse and how much they don't like it. Which I mean,
Well,
I
not to hijack your conversation. What were you guys talking about exactly before I came here?
well, we were talking about Jeff Johns, which I guess kind of jumps perfectly into the whole Snyderverse thing.
Because he had such a huge hand in it.
Kind of in a weird way, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I am.
remember that.
I kind of want to like steal Rick's portal gun and go to an alternate universe where we see exactly what Zack Snyder wanted to do with the DC universe if Jeff Johns was not a producer at DC Entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that would be interesting.
there's a so I'm not sure if you know this.
The thing about are you gonna tell me the thing about Guy Gardner?
No. This is a whole so like there's like a whole thing that's part of Jeff Johns' like I guess tenure at DC where I think if I read this right, I'm not sure. I do want to reread it so I don't sound like I'm talking out of my ass. But in the meantime, I'm gonna talk out of my ass. There was a clause that I saw was put forth where Jeff Johns had like dibs on all of his material being adapted. That's why like most of the DC universe in terms of live action and animation and video games for the past like decade or so has largely been based off of his work.
Yeah,
but
two people like love
it's
his
brilliant.
fucking.
It's
Yeah,
sneaky but brilliant.
yeah, that is a clever little move to make. No wonder they made, because no, like literally one of the first new generation DC animated movies was Justice League War, and it was like I
hmm
always thought that was weird. I always thought it was weird. I was like, why? I mean, like I understand you're trying to introduce the Justice League, but like the DC Rebirth or DC New 52 hadn't gone over well with a lot of people. So it was like, but what? So why choose that for your new animated universe? And it was like, it always felt like that was a dumb.
Well, I don't want to like actually you, but I'm gonna actually you. Uh, the New 52 was pretty successful. Um, like it's kind of like one of those weird things where the reputation is largely negative because of what it turned into, but at the start, New 52 was one of the things that looked like it was going to. I don't want to say save DC because DC didn't exactly need saving at that point in time. Um, at least financially, it was financially they were doing pretty all right, but creatively they were kind of in the toilet. Um,
No, no, but let me preface it by saying that
okay, shoot.
while while the reputation was one thing, me and you've had numerous conversations where I've told you that some of what Batman was doing was actually something I quite enjoyed. Some of it, not all of it, because a lot of it was just rehashing Grant Morrison. But specifically, there were specific titles that I really loved, like Brian Azzarello's Wonder Woman was arguably some of the best stuff coming out of New 52. There was some really quality stuff coming out of New 52, but everything that was Jeff Johns' New 52, it was like varying degrees of okay, or just like, yeah, I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, I I put a lot of that on like Dan DiDio. Um, not to like put the whole shit crown on that man's head, but Dan DiDio, along with Jeff Johns, that is like a tornado of like member berries.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, it's very clear that from the beginning of their comics career, they really wanted to kind of like take the DC universe back to how they idealized it in like 1978, which is like cool. I like Bronze Age DC too, but this universe has kind of progressed past that, I think. Um, but I will say I do defend the New 52 in the sense that I think in terms of like large scale kind of like lore and structure, it streamlined the hell out of the DC universe in a way where some things kind of made sense. Like, hey,
In some ways,
let's
yes.
let's take all the like 800 Supergirls that DC kind of like wrote themselves into a corner with post Crisis because there was that whole like editorial mandate that Superman could only be he had to be the last son of Krypton, so there could not be any more Kryptonian survivors. But you know they still wanted to have Supergirl, so they like had Matrix and they had Sur-El, who was like a prostitute who got mind wiped by Brainiac and given superpowers. There was Laura Danvers. So there were like a bunch of different Supergirls from like the 80s into like the early 2000s that were just kind of just condensed into one character.
Man, there's nothing wrong with just having like just a weird amount of like just random white women. That
Uh,
sounded a lot more sexual than it meant to be. It genuinely wasn't, but I knew that it would sound that way, so I just leaned into it.
you tried. I feel you.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like,
Oh yeah,
I don't
Tevia
care
also
how it
brings up
sounds.
Power Girl. Power Girl's a weird one where
You know what? I always liked Power Girl. I just felt that, you can explain it any number of ways, but for me, it just doesn't matter. Like, I can have Supergirl, or I can have Power Girl, or I can have both. I'm not, like, how sometimes it's just like, well, hey, man, it's a cool, interesting thing that I love, and I don't need it to necessarily make sense. Like Bizarro. I don't care how you get give me Bizarro, just as long as there's a Bizarro in the DC universe.
I feel you. I guess for
Like,
me,
I don't care if he's from a reverse planet or if he's a clone of Superman. Either way, as long as there's a Bizarro and he talks in that weird backwards way, like hello, goodbye, me not happy. Like whenever like I don't care how you give me Bizarro, just give me Bizarro.
I liked how the Superman animated series handled Bizarro, where he is the clone, but they do eventually manage to get him on the Bizarro universe planet.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a pretty good idea.
Give me Bizarro. It's cool. Bizarro's a fun, interesting character that you just do. Like, that's part of the problem I feel like sometimes with DC. It's like, you know, some of these characters are genuinely, truly, awesomely fun and interesting. So why don't we just lean into how fun and interesting it is and just do it? Why do we have to take it? Why do we have to, like, mess shit up? Like, if a formula works, you don't mess with the formula. Like, why are there 500 different types of Oreos? The original Oreo was good.
Well, I don't know. I think there's still more you can do with it. It's pretty interesting and cool.
Oreo? Tell me what type of Oreo is as good as the original Oreo.
Deep fried Oreos.
Huh?
Deep fried Oreos.
No, I mean like the ones that they sell in packets though. Like specifically, tell me a type of Oreo that's as good as the original.
Oh, double stuffed chocolate. Dork.
No, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
What are you saying? You don't like double stuffed chocolate Oreos?
When I eat Oreos, I eat plain Oreos. I don't.
All right, you know what? This conversation's over. Goodbye. Goodbye. My phone's also dying too. I'm sorry.
I don't need fancy fucking Oreos. I just need Oreos.
Nope, you're wrong. Well, you're wrong, and I'm hanging up.
Original Oreos are the best type
Goodbye,
of
Greg. Goodbye, Greg. Goodbye, Greg.
If the stream goes.
You can say whatever you want about Bizarro and Power Girl. You will not say that double stuffed chocolate Oreos are bad. That's an automatic ban on this channel. That's a new rule. Rule the first: double stuffed chocolate Oreos are dope. My phone actually is dying though. I love Greg, but just, I like actually couldn't maintain that conversation with like a phone at 3% battery. Oh, I like missed out on a bunch of chats. Let's see. James Gunn for the win today. Oh yeah, like the. Hey, Greg. You're still wrong, but that's cool. Fucking vanilla ass taste. I'm like really excited for James Gunn taking the helm of the DC universe. It was funny though, seeing all the like DC fans in his Twitter replies going like, "Oh, you posted a picture from Kingdom Come," and he said, "I'm making plans. That means they're getting a Kingdom Come movie." No, dude. It's sometimes a cool picture's a cool picture. But no, I really like the I like James Gunn as a director. Like, he's one of my favorite directors. And I really liked Peacemaker. I think Peacemaker's probably the best comic book adaptation of 2022. Like, still, I think it is the best comic book adaptation of 2022. Or much rather, it's the best superhero TV show based on a comic book property. I like the Batman a lot. Although the more I think about the Batman, the more problems I tend to have with it. Like it's not bad. It's just, and I hate having to like explain myself because we live in such a, you either love it or hate it. Like, it's either the greatest thing in the universe or it gave you anal cancer and ulcers, and it's the worst thing that needs to be thrown into the pit of hell. Like, there's a middle ground here, and I think it's missing. But I'm kind of like in that middle ground with the Batman, where it's cool. the more I watch it, it's just like, it's cool. My biggest issue with it though is that the entire arc that Bruce Wayne has in that movie is literally the arc that Bruce Wayne has in the first like third of Batman Begins. It's literally like, hey, let's take everything from like the 15-minute mark up to the 45-minute mark of Batman Begins and just stretch that out to 3 hours. Like, okay, I guess. And then there's like a lot of the other Marvel stuff that came out, which I thought some was alright. I think Wakanda Forever is like definitely the best thing for Marvel that came out this year, but like it's still not great. I kind of don't want to do a video on it because I don't want to think about that movie. But yeah, like going back to James Gunn. Yeah, no, I'm excited for the future of the DC universe. I think it's like I think things are kind of looking up. Although I'm in a different camp from you, Derpy. Because I was really into the Snyderverse. I like the Zack Snyder take on the DC universe. And I guess like after Snyder's departure, we were in like a weird gray period where like I didn't know what the hell was going on. But now James Gunn is on board and doing stuff, and I'm back on board, you know. Have you read the first issue of Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise? I have actually. I got that book last week. I got the Peach Momoko cover because Peach Momoko is amazing. Like her art's fantastic. Although this book had like a lot of really cool covers. Ron Lim did a cover that I thought was dope. It was like a throwback to classic Steve Ditko Doctor Strange. I thought that was really cool. And I thought the cover A was also really cool, like the Trad Moore like wraparound cover. That was dope. But I got this because I'm a simp for Peach Momoko. Her art's amazing. And dude, this comic is just like so dope. Something that I would ponder a lot is, as much as I love Silver Surfer Requiem by Moebius, I've always wanted to see Moebius do Doctor Strange. Like that's a character that I always thought would fit his sensibilities. Unfortunately, Moebius has since passed. But wait, no, am I thinking of Jorge Jimenez? I know Jorge Jimenez passed. It's one of like there are like a couple dudes from like the Jodorowsky verse who like passed away. I think Moebius might be one of them. I don't know, but regardless, this is what I've always wanted to see with Doctor Strange. Like this is beautiful. Like just everything about this book, like just even look at like weird panels like this. Come on, dude, how do you not get like? How does your imagination not like get erect after that? Like this is beautiful. You know, I absolutely adored this comic. It was great. I'm glad I picked it up. I hope it's right here. Yeah, just litter my PS4. But yeah, no, that was like that's a definite recommend if you're like trying to get into Doctor Strange. Like this is the Doctor Strange book to be reading right now. I mean, Strange Academy I'm sure is all right, and I'm sure like the Clea Strange book is also good, but this is dope. This is the Doctor Strange book you should be reading if you're a Doctor Strange fan. Okay. Oh, sorry. So, I guess continuing on with where Derpy was talking about though. Hello. Hey, it's always so. This was like your first. Is this your first stream, Derpy? It's your first time coming here? Hey, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I did not know that. I thought you were someone who, like, either lurked or just came by and changed your name. Sorry, I generally don't ask people questions. I'm, like, really kind of bad in that regard. But, Derby says, hello, I'm new here. I'm a DC fan that mostly grew up with the animated show that helped me understand the characters and what they should be. Not much a reader, more of a visual viewer. But that show made me know. I think you got cut off there. But yeah, no, like definitely. Welcome to the channel, bro. Yeah, what's good? What's good? Adam says I totally know exactly what you mean with the John. Yeah, the Johnisms. That man shows rectangles and squares. For example, when he did the origin of Mirror Master in his Flash run, did not know that. Wait. Which Mirror Master? Does Jeff Johns make the second Mirror Master? I have the... Oh, okay, they're buried back there. I don't feel like going through all that shit. But, yeah, Jeff Johns, he just kind of has a tendency to, like... Do you want to know why Krypton is built on nothing but crystals? And it's like, I don't care. I don't care, man. I don't need an explanation for that. But we have to tie everything together. I don't care. I do not care. Just tell a cool story with this character and I'm fine. But, you know, for as much as I give Jeff Johns, he, like, actually, like, legitimately is a really talented writer. He's a hack, but still a talented writer. Okay, here's the thing. You can be a hack and still be a good writer. Or, like, a good artist or a good whatever. That's, like, a thing that I always kind of, I guess, reject in the way in which we kind of, like, talk about comics and movies and video games and whatnot. Like, people always say, like, oh, you're an industry hack. You know who else is an industry hack? Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese, not Martin Scorsese, sorry. Steven Spielberg. That man, like, hacked up everything for freaking Universal Studios. He's still one of the best, like, directors of all time. You know? A lot of the Marvel directors are, I guess, technically hacks. They're like studio puppets when they work on those movies. But a lot of them are still, like, legitimately really good directors and writers when it comes to, like, their other material. You know who else is a hack? Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison is a, like, DC Comics hack. And they are still one of the best damn writers in comics. So, I don't know. I always, like, take issue with, like, the way we kind of talk about, like, hacks. But that's, like, my soapbox that no one asked me about or cares about. But, yeah, I don't know. Tevia, how do you feel about everything being canon in the DC universe and Zombie connect to the movies? Zombie? Like the Cranberry song? So if this is, like, in regards to what James Gunn kind of tweeted a couple days ago, it is somewhat concerning, you know, there being this, like, DC cinematic film universe, and then there's going to be, like, animated series and you know, other live action series and video games tying into all of it. That kind of rubs me a certain way, and not a fun way, because I don't like being rubbed that way intellectually. I don't know. I don't know. It kind of just it gave me a weird, like, specifically the video game thing, because the thing I think is like really cool with superhero video games now is they're largely allowed to tell their own stories and not be shackled to whatever the movies or even the comics for that matter are like doing. Um, that's what I think is one of the biggest strengths of the Rocksteady Arkham series. You know, that is their own version of Batman over there. It's pulling from comics, it's pulling from the movies, it's pulling from, you know, different TV shows here and there, you know, specifically Batman the Animated Series. But it's largely its own continuity, and those storytellers are doing their own thing, and that's what I think worked so well for the Arkham series. It was an alternative continuity if you weren't a fan of what Christopher Nolan was doing with Batman and how grounded it was. You know, that's not a world where you can have Robin and Clayface and, you know, a jetpack flying Firefly and all that. But you can have that in the Arkham games, you know. Or same with you know, the Zack Snyder take on Batman. You know, if you're not a fan of that version of Batman, well, then the Arkham games are, you know, I guess more familiar. It's more akin to like the animated series, but it's like a PG-13, like more grown-up version of the animated series. And even if you're like not a fan of, you know, what the original Bruce Timm and like Paul Dini animated series was doing, or like I guess did, because she'd been like canceled for like 20 years at that point. But if you weren't a fan of like the directions that like the DC animated universe went in, with that character of Batman, well then the Arkham games, they're not beholden to the DCAU continuity, so it's not really that version of Batman, even though he sounds like that version of Batman. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. And they're taking heavy inspiration from that universe. It is kind of its own thing, and I think that's what really works about like these AAA self-contained like video game franchises for superheroes. Same thing for Spider-Man. You know, I cannot tell you how many YouTube videos I saw when Spider-Man PS4 dropped by Insomniac. What the big thing people were saying was, thank God this isn't like the MCU Spider-Man, and thank God this isn't like current comic book Spider-Man. Like, yeah, it works because it's its own thing over there. So that's like a big fear that I have with, I guess, the DC like universe moving forward. I don't really want there to be like a Peacemaker vigilante game. Like I really don't. And if there is a Green Lantern game that comes down the pipeline, I don't want it to be connected to the movies. If there's a Superman game that comes out, as cool as it would be to have that like a Henry Cavill Superman adventure like happen in like video game form, I don't want that to be like a I don't want that to like have to tie into other shit. Like I don't, just let the games be their own thing, man. You know, having tie-in comics is one thing. Having tie-in animated series is grating. But one of the sources that was cited, and this was secondhand. I don't think this is something that James Gunn said himself, but someone did bring up, well, Star Wars does it, and it works out fairly well. And they're right, Star Wars does do it, and it works out fairly well. Granted, Star Wars is like its own kind of thing, but this is me in like 2022 talking about some shit that we're probably not going to see like come to fruition by like 2025. So like we're going to see how this all works out when we get there. But for the time being, I'm left a little kind of like on the whole thing, but we'll see how that goes. Adam says Peter David was truly an architect. Okay, we don't have to say was. The man is still alive. You know, he's still kicking. But But yeah, he wrote one of the best Spider-Man stories ever, "The Death of Jean DeWolf," and actually created uh, Tree Spidey, Joe Head, Tree Spidey. The fuck is Tree Spidey? I don't know about that. Joe had friendship until Scott deleted for a while. I don't know. I feel like I stroked out that last part, and I'm like trying to reread it silently, and it's not working. But yeah, no, Peter David is definitely, um, I'd say one of the like pillars of the Marvel universe. Like I'd put him up there with Jack Kirby. Like he is that influential. Like okay, if you have like Stan Lee, there would be Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Roy Thomas, definitely, um, Peter David, Chris Claremont, um, and I put John Byrne on there. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, no, like yeah, just Peter David is like extremely, like extreme. Like I don't think people realize like how much of the Marvel universe like comes from his mind. Like all like okay, Hulk alone, like the like everything that like Peter David does with the Hulk from like the 80s into the 90s, um, it laid the groundwork for like every Hulk story that we've kind of just been like telling and retelling since like the late 90s onward. Um, like all the stuff with like Bruce Banner's psychological trauma and how the Hulk is like a coping mechanism for Bruce Banner. All the like weird like magic lore bullshit that doesn't really make any sense with the gamma radiation. Like all that comes from Peter David. The 2099 universe, that comes from Peter David. Or really it comes from Stan Lee making like a whole what if we did Ravage over there? But the stuff that people know and care about in the 2099 universe comes from Peter David. So yeah, no, it just kind of like really sucks that he's going through such a hard time. And you know, all I can do, all anyone can do is like donate to his GoFundMe, which again is in the chat. In fact, I'll like try to pin it. But yeah, no. I, I wish nothing but the best for Peter David, and I hope he has a speedy recovery with everything going on with him. But that's me being very hopeful and not all that pragmatic. Homhead. Homhead? Who's Homhead? Adam corrected himself. He said, "Oh, Hammer. Like Peter and Hammerhead have like a friendship." Uh, hmm. Um. I guess we'll circle back to that. But Derpy says, "All right, I'll ask you both." And Greg isn't here because he's a heretic who doesn't like double stuffed chocolate Oreos. Are you a fan of the Snyderverse? I am a fan of the Snyderverse. I get why a lot of people aren't. I like 100% get it. But for me, so much of what Zack Snyder was doing was pulling from comics that I really fucked with growing up. Like I loved Mark Waid and not Lee and Yuck, Lionel Yu, Lionel Yu's Superman Birthright. But I also like really liked Man of Steel by John Byrne growing up. I was a big fan of Superman Earth 1, which I've reviewed on the channel before. It's one of like my favorite videos that I've ever done. I'm like really proud of that video still to this day. But like so much like what Zack Snyder was doing is pulling from that material. So yeah, no, I was really into that first movie, Man of Steel. Batman v Superman is a movie that like I've come to appreciate over time. Um, I definitely saw the inspirations that Snyder was pulling from with Batman v Superman. It was just he was doing it in a way that it didn't quite, not quite, it didn't quite click with me until I guess like the past like 2 or 3 years. But yeah, like I really like Zack Snyder's I'll say bravery, and I will say bravery. I commend his efforts in telling a Superman story that isn't afraid of tackling the concept of you can't be a hero to everyone. Like that's something that like other comics do, like specifically for Tomorrow, um, which is not a great comic book, but the art's really pretty because it was drawn by Jim Lee. But something that I really liked in Superman for Tomorrow is this whole idea of Superman really trying to be this like sort of utilitarian hero who like am I using, is it utilitarian? No, never mind. I'm using the wrong word. Um, that's more like it's more like a Batman kind of thing. Because that's like being practical as opposed to like wanting people to like you. A lot of what Superman is wrapped up in is his image. I know that sounds like awful, but think of it from like Superman's perspective. He can punch planets out of existence. The first sign of trouble, people are gonna freak out and be scared of him. I don't know. I'm like reading Beyond Good and Evil right now, so like I'm like I'm on a hardcore like I'm down with this movie kind of vibe. But yeah, no, like I was looking up the word I wanted to like describe Zack Snyder's take on Superman as I don't know. But he's doing this whole thing where like you can't be a hero to everyone, because even if you help these people over here, you're not helping these people over here. And by not helping these people over here, you're sowing the seeds of resentment in these people, while you're kind of like making these people over here kind of like worship you and like breed a culture of dependency on you. And then there's also that whole idea of like, because you're helping someone over here, you are at that same time like screwing over someone over there. I don't know. There's a lot that's like really cool. I like about that movie. I like the Snyderverse a lot. And then Zack Snyder's Justice League is just straight up the closest thing I'm probably ever gonna get to an adaptation of Final Crisis and Rock of Ages by Grant Morrison, which is like my favorite DC comic of all time. Or I guess two of my favorite DC comics of all time. But yeah, I don't know. I like the Snyderverse, but I get why people generally aren't. Fuck, what's the word? It's not utilitarian. It's a word that's often used to describe Kant. Let me see. And it's like it's something that like a lot of postmodernists kind of like use in like a derogatory fashion because they don't like Immanuel Kant. I get that, but I guess for the purpose of like analyzing Superman, um, I guess Superman would be like a contest. Or I think Superman would like vie with Immanuel Kant. Um, he's very like deontological. Um, wait, deontological is the one where it doesn't matter the consequence; it just matters the intent of the action, right? I'm gonna look that up. Yeah, deontological ethics is an action where an action is considered morally good because of some of the characteristics of the action itself, not because of the product of the action. Yeah, so Superman is definitely like a deontological character, and yeah, a lot of creators tend to focus on the deontological like philosophy behind Superman as opposed to the teleological philosophy of Superman, or I guess superheroes. That's something that like is often reserved for Batman, because Batman's a character like we're totally fine with accepting the fact that Batman's flawed. So even when he does the right thing, bad things will still happen because he's doing a good thing. That's like not something like people are totally willing to accept with Superman. And that's why I think a lot of people like weren't into the Snyderverse, because the Snyderverse was, I mean, those all of those movies are like teleological, like teleological as fuck. Like even when you do something good, something bad still happens. That's like a recurring theme in those movies. I thought that was very fascinating because that's just not something that people like really kind of do with Superman material. I mean, sometimes creators will play with those themes and ideas. J. Michael Straczynski definitely did with Earth One, which is why I love that trilogy so much. But yeah, like a lot of creators just seem to be scared of going into that territory with that character. I can't lose another legendary character. I can't, or creator. I can't. Yeah, no, I feel you. He would like just after Tim Sale too, who also apparently succumbed to very treatable illnesses, but because the comic book industry doesn't give a fuck about the people that like build it, essentially, he wasn't able to afford the necessary treatment. So that's yeah, it's a pain. It's an absolute pain. Derpy says the storyboards for what Snyder intended to do is absolutely crazy. I grew up in the 90s and 2000s animation era. I just want that tone for the DCU. I can see that. I definitely feel you on that. I guess I just kind of like I was like really into the Snyderverse because it had that tone of like the you said you like aren't a big comic book guy. This is gonna be like difficult to describe, but there's an era in DC Comics, specifically from the late 90s up until 2009. Or is Final Crisis 2008? I know it got delayed extremely heavily. So it might be 2007? I don't know. But there's a whole era from like DC Comics 2000 to like 2009. I'm just going to say 2009. And this like the Snyderverse definitely felt like it was in line with that tone. Or I guess at least like the big event stuff and like the tentpole stuff, like the like Superman felt like the City of Tomorrow era Superman. Wonder Woman by Patty Jenkins felt definitely in line with the Greg Rucka Wonder Woman. Suicide Squad, actually, you know what? Suicide Squad felt more like the New 52 Suicide Squad. Um, and I have a weird like I guess relationship with that David Ayer Suicide Squad movie. Um, like that story is awful. Granted, I don't know like much about what the story was supposed to be, um, because like there's no script that's been leaked or whatever. But I don't know. Like I really like the aesthetic of the David Ayer Suicide Squad. It was just like a very, I guess, like a controversial thing to say, but that's my hot take. I love the aesthetic of David Ayer Suicide Squad. Um, just like the big thing that like really I vibe with is that the criminals actually feel like criminals. Like they look like criminals. They feel kind of like dirty and gringy and like grimy and I don't want to be around you. Like they're like ghetto fabulous, and I think that's perfect in a weird way. Um, like I don't mind Harley Quinn looking like a prostitute. Like you seen the girls that hang around like Tekashi 6ix9ine and like Lil Pump and like all those dudes. Like yeah, they look gross. Like you don't want to hang out with them. They look disgusting. Not to judge, but I'm judging. Or like I remember when people were freaking out, and I always joke about this because it's hilarious. People were all like freaking out about like Captain Boomerang looks like he looks like a junkie, he looks like a meth head, and it's like he runs jewel heists with a boomerang. I don't think it's that far of a leap to assume that he is also like a meth addict. Just I don't know, man. Also that would be Jeff Johns approved because I think Jeff Johns has like Mirror Master doing like no, not heroin. He was a cokehead. I think he was a cokehead. This is like the second Mirror Master, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, I like the aesthetic and I like the tone of that first Suicide Squad movie. It was kind of like very grimy and gritty, which I think works for like the underbelly of the DC universe. I think that works for criminals. I guess it's like a weird thing for me to say, but yeah. Yeah, no, I think all those movies kind of like feel very much in line with like a era of the DC universe that like I grew up with, so I really like it for that reason. Tevia, do you believe the New 52 was a massive mistake from the very beginning? No, absolutely not. I think I talked about this a little bit with Greg on stream, but the New 52 has like roots in a really good idea, and that's what is so frustrating with the New 52. It's a lot of like really like good ideas, just executed terribly. But no, I generally like the idea of taking the DC universe and like streamlining like all these various kind of like disconnected, disparate ideas and concepts and character bits of lore and just making everything make sense in a streamlined continuity. Kind of like what Marv Wolfman tried to do with the DC universe after Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's just I think the big thing that New 52 has over Crisis on Infinite Earths is that it had the benefit of hindsight in seeing where Crisis failed. And I guess New 52 is kind of like in a weird way like an anti-Crisis. Or like an anti-post-Crisis. It was like kind of putting the genie back in the bottle, going like, no, we're gonna have an Earth 2, and we're gonna have an Earth 1, and Earth 2 is where all the Golden Age, like, Justice Society heroes are, and Earth 1's where the Justice League is, and, you know, the New Gods exist outside of space and time, so they kind of, like, there's a crossover between the Earth 1 and Earth 2 universes. I think a lot of that was like really good, really cool. Also, like, hey, let's take Supergirl's history and like make that just make sense. Um, it's just again, just a lot of it. A lot of it was just executed poorly. That's the real problem with the New 52. Also, we got rid of Wally West, which was a mistake. Can't get rid of the best Flash. You just can't do that. Yep. Power Girl. I I didn't say this when Greg was on because my phone is dying, but I have a whole thing with Power Girl. Like I really don't like Power Girl. I don't. Like I don't like. It's like that thing I was talking about earlier with Supergirl just being needlessly complicated. Um, why do we need a Kara from another dimension who is an adult? Well, like, no, just fucking let Kara grow up and become Power Girl. Like, you introduce Kara Zor-El as Supergirl and you let her grow up, and then she carves out a niche for herself and becomes not niche, like carves like a new name for herself, and she becomes Power Girl in the future. I think that is way cooler, way more streamlined, way simpler than like, well, actually, Power Girl's Supergirl from another dimension, and she got stranded in this new one. Just have just make Power Girl grown up Supergirl. Just that is way simpler than like any other bullshit. Supreme says, since you hated Steph as a kid, thoughts on Steph now? Do you feel she is a good love interest for Tim? And I feel she is still gets some hate due to War Games, even though she was pretty out of character for that. Well, I don't. So I actually never read War Games. I know it happens in War Games. I never read it. That whole era of Batman, though, I think I've said before, I'm not a fan of it. Like, the early 2000s Batman is just not my bag. But I've come around on the relationship between Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown. I almost said Stephanie Kane, which my brain was like, that's not right. That's not right at all. What are you saying? But yeah, no, I like the relationship now in a way that I guess I didn't appreciate growing up. But that's also probably because I guess growing up I was really into the idea of Tim Drake and Cassie Sandsmark. Despite the fact that I didn't like Cassie either. Maybe I was just racist against blonde chicks in superhero comics. I don't know. I'm just gonna chalk it up to me like hating like blonde white girls in superhero comics as a kid. I don't know. I mean, it's not because I like Stargirl. That Stargirl was pretty cool, but like I don't know. Outside of that, I'm just racist. I'll take it. Toby says, how do you feel about the Jeremy Adams Flash book? I love it. I absolutely love it. I think, I don't know, I said that I felt the Philip Kennedy Johnson Action Comics book is the best superhero book on the shelves right now. However, I think Jeremy Adams' Flash run is like runner up. Like it is runner up. It is, well, no pun intended. But no, the Jeremy Adams Flash book is like giving Flash fans everything that we've been begging for the past decade. Wally West as a husband and a father raising his family with Linda Park. or I guess Linda Park West. I forgot. Did she hyphenate her name, or did she just become Linda West? I don't remember. But it's everything that we've been asking for like a decade. So like I'm really into it, and that's all I gotta say on that. I really wish that it was selling better though. It's not selling that great. Granted, a lot of comics aren't selling that great. I think a big problem, two big problems, is one, DC and Marvel too, but like DC is they're publishing too many books. There's too many books coming out. If they just shave that number down, to like a lean, I don't know, like 20, 25 ongoing titles. I think that's enough. And if you want to have more books, well, then you can have miniseries. I think DC is publishing like 100 titles, and I'm not like joking. I think they actually are publishing like 100 plus titles right now. That is insane. That is too damn many. They don't need that many books coming out right now. Nobody's gonna read that many books, and there's something to be said about there being something for everyone, but the negative side effect of that is that not all these books are gonna get the attention that they deserve, especially if they're really good. And that's the other thing. Whoever's working at DC Comics in their marketing department, you can just fire them. Because what are they doing? Not their job. I'll tell you that much. Like, Jeremy Adams is like bending over backwards trying to hype up his Flash book. Hey, Jeremy, it's really cool that you're doing that. That's not your job. Your job is to write the book. It's marketing's job to hype up what you're doing. You don't have to do this. I mean, it's cool. I mean, you do have to do this, but like you are. That's why you have like a marketing department to hype up the books that are coming out. The reason nobody's talking about the Jeremy Adams Flash book, the reason nobody's talking about Action Comics by Philip Kennedy Johnson, the reason why nobody's talking about all of these like legitimately great comics that are coming out right now. Detective Comics by Ron V. Fucking Batman by Chip Zdarsky. And Jorge Jimenez. Like, these are all A-list books. No one's talking about them because they're not being marketed properly. And that's just a big problem. That's just a big problem in like superhero comics between Marvel and DC right now. It's poor marketing and too many damn books being put out, but more so the poor marketing. Ain't no damn reason for Philip Kennedy Johnson to have his whole just everything up in Action Comics, putting out the best superhero comic right now, and just marketing is. What the fuck, dude? That is unacceptable. Same thing with Jeremy Adams' run on the Flash. Best run on that character. Really, best run on that book in over a decade, and nothing. Absolutely pathetic. Supreme Omega. On Tynion's Detective Comics run, for me, I didn't like it. Oh, interesting. I don't like his writing voice for Tim, Steph, and Cass. They don't feel like Tim, Steph, and Cass from the pre-Crisis New 52 universe. I would agree, but I think for maybe different reasons. I really like the Detective Comics run by Tinian, and goddamn, who's the artist on that book? It's a dude I know because he's doing the he did Urban Legends with Chip Zdarsky. He's a really good artist. Why can't I think of his name? But yeah, no, I really like that Rebirth Detective Comics run by Tinian. My only problem with it, though, and this kind of goes into what you're saying, Tim, Steph, and Cass didn't quite feel like 2000s era Tim, Steph, and Cass. You know what they felt like to me? They felt like the Wikipedia page version of those characters. That's what they felt like to me. You know how, like, Gotham Knights, like the video game, like Dick and Barbara and Tim and Red Hood, they all feel like a Wikipedia entry take on those characters. That's kind of what Tinian's Detective Comics felt like to me, with his take on those characters. Just a little bit. And he even addresses it too. Like, there's a bit where that kid whose name I can't remember, but he's like, he's a Tim Drake villain, like specifically a Tim Drake villain. But he's like one of the antagonists of that run, and he points out through like a hijacked version of Brother Eye, which is like stuck in the multiverse or whatever. I don't remember, but yeah, no, there's a bit where he points out to Tim and Stephanie that Orphan and Spoiler, as you are right now, like this is like a discount version of how people like you and remember you, basically. So like he's kind of self-aware in that, but like it I don't know. But I dug it personally. As much as I liked Tom King's Batman run, and I'm in the hard minority on that too. But as much as I like Tom King's Batman, I think the Detective Comics Rebirth book was definitely like the quintessential like Bat Family title. And kind of in the way that like the Superman family is gonna get like a Superman family title with Action Comics next year, I'd like to see that return for Detective Comics. At least, you know, after Ram V's 10 years over, or just make a fucking Bat Family title. While DC's publishing like, you know, 100 titles, might as well make it 101. Let's see. I scrolled too aggressively. Crap. Where did I go? Crap. Okay, here we go. Tevi says, personally, I think the Batman and Battle of the Super Sons are my favorite movies of... Oh, the Batman and Battle of the Super Sons are my favorite movies of 2022. Oh, cool. Nice. What was my favorite movie of this year? I'm trying to think. 2022. This year's been so full, and like at the same, on the one hand it flew by, but on the other hand it felt like 10 years crammed into 1 year. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, that's just kind of how 2022 felt to me. Did Crimes of the Future come out this year? I believe it did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Crimes of the Future came out this year. That's my favorite movie of 2022. Yeah. Yeah, definitely Crimes of the Future is like my favorite movie of the year. But I really did enjoy Super Sons. I thought like that's like my favorite uh, DC movie that came out this year. Um, absolutely. Also written by Jeremy Adams, so the man knows what the people wants. Um, I personally love Tynion's Detective Comics, and Peter Tomasi's Action Comics. Uh, yeah, yeah, those are great. I think an omnibus came out for the Tomasi Action Comics book. I wonder if they ever did one for the Tynion uh, Batman Rebirth, or I guess Detective Comics Rebirth. Um, how do you feel about Ben Reilly being the main villain in Dark Web? Um, is that what's happening? I think I said this before, but like, I'm like, I'm noped out on Spider-Man right now. Like, I'm just so I'm done with Spider-Man in comics. Like, I'll play the games. The games are cool. Um, I think the Into the Spider-Verse movies are really cool. Uh, but in terms of comics, Spider-Man is just no. Too bad Bendis is a hack writer. Hey, but like I said earlier, a hack can still be a good writer. You know, just because you're a hack doesn't mean you're a bad writer. Um, I will say I think Bendis maybe lost his magic. Although I think he's definitely lost his magic. Um, but sometimes that happens so that like a creator can like Dark Knight Returns themselves and find new magic. As they like kind of reinvent their storytelling style. I hope that's what Bendis is going through right now. I hope that's the case for him. Adam says, yeah, it was the second Mirror Master that Johns retold, where as a kid he was an assassin and nearly got raped and stopped it by smashing the guy's head in with a rock. This isn't Johns' run on the Flash? I don't remember that. Like, I legitimately do not remember that. Is that like in like the Iron Heights special? Which I think is like in the middle of his run. Yeah. There are like some parts of Jeff Johns' run that like I like kind of skim over because I'm just not a fan of some of the art in that. Not that it's bad. It's just I'm just not my sensibilities, or I guess it wasn't when I was a kid. But I'll like definitely check that out. Like I don't remember that. I really Tubby says I really want a Superman game similar to the new God of War game. With God of War Ragnarok with yeah, that'd be really cool. Having Clark and John like traverse the cosmos. That'd be really dope. I'd like that. And you get to like have Superman and Superboy fight like Calabac and stuff like that. That'd be dope. I would love that. There's a bot in the chat. Wait, where? Where's the bot? I don't see a bot. I think I missed the bot. Sorry, I guess I was like running my mouth too much. I didn't see the bot. How do you feel about the Super Mario Brothers movie coming out in 2023? Oh, that looks awesome. Like, it actually looks really good. It looks like the type of movie where some dork just sat in front of their computer for like 10 hours a day, like for 8 days, 8 or 9 days, and they just comb through the entire lore and history of like the Mario universe and said, "Bet, let's make a movie." I don't know, man. It looks cool to me. The only thing that like really kind of irks me is Mario's voice. I don't think you needed Chris Pratt. I don't know. Although I guess like who do you get to be um who do you get to be not Tony Soprano. Who do you get to be like Mario? Like if you're not gonna use the original like video game voice. I guess I said Tony Soprano. For me, the obvious choice in an ideal world would be James Gandolfini. I think James Gandolfini would make an amazing Mario if he was alive. If you're gonna do like a Mario like animated thing, but I don't know. I also feel like you don't have to like stunt cast like voice work. Just get voice actors. That's why they're there. You get voice actors to do voice work. It's fucking whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Outside of that, the movie looks really cool. I'm excited for it. I'll check it out. New 52 Suicide Squad was just bad. No, I don't know. I disagree with that. The New 52 Suicide Squad, I thought, was an interesting take on the Suicide Squad. It was definitely like the more like Michael Bay action movie style of the Suicide Squad. Compared to what like that book used to be under John Ostrander, where it was like a more kind of like, I don't know, who's the guy who directed the first the Jason Bourne movie, like Bourne Supremacy. This Paul Greengrass? Yeah, like the Ostrander like Suicide Squad books felt more like a Paul Greengrass kind of movie. Whereas like the New 52 Suicide Squad material felt very much like it felt more like a Jeremy Lin kind of thing, or not Jeremy Lin, or Justin Lin, the guy who directed like the last two Fast and Furious movies. It felt like that, which I don't think is bad. It's just it's different, but I don't think that makes it bad. Personally, I think James Gunn's Suicide Squad was far better than David Ayer's. Oh, I agree. Like 100%, I agree. Supreme Omega says, also been reading Peter David's Young Justice. It's great. I haven't even read the whole thing, but like from what I've read, it is really good. It definitely feels like the successor to, like the rightful successor to, Marv Wolfman and George Perez's Teen Titans. But Supreme says it makes me dislike Jeff Johns' Teen Titans. I feel John stripped the personality of Bart, Cassie, and Khan, especially Cassie. Yeah, Jeff Johns. When Jeff Johns came on to Teen Titans and like kind of revitalized that book, I liked it at the time. Granted, I was like 9 or no, wait. That book started in 2003, right? So Yeah, so I was 7. I was 7 when that book came out. I liked it when I was 7. You know, it also helped that like it was kind of in the same kind of like tone as the Teen Titans animated series, which was coming out around the same time. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. Just kind of looking back, Jeff Johns made several like weird kind of character choices that I don't entirely agree with now. Um, like I don't really agree with his take on Connor. Um, Granted, I've been told that Connor goes to like significant character like changes throughout the Young Justice run by Peter David. Um, and I have since reread Graduation Day, um, which I didn't hate as much as I did when I first read it like years ago. Um, but it's still not good. It's still not great. It's not great, but it's still not like I don't know. There are worse comics out there, but Connor in Jeff Johns' Teen Titans feels a lot like Connor in Graduation Day, but uh, those characters feel kind of that character just kind of feels different to me in some of the '90s Superman in comics. You just I don't know. Um, yeah, I I also in retrospect do not vibe with um, Jeff Johns' take on Bart. Um, but I don't really know that much about Cassie. Like I haven't outside of Teen Titans. I haven't read a lot of Cassie books. Like I haven't really read a lot with Cassie in it. Um, but yeah. Um, do you believe the New 52 should have been like the Ultimate Marvel Universe, a separate continuity altogether? No, I think that's what Earth 1 should have been. Granted, Earth 1 should not have been like a series of like graphic novels that are released like a fucking movie. It should have come out as comics. Um, but that's what Earth 1 should have been. That should have been like the Ultimate Universe style thing over there. Um, Question: how would you have fixed New 52 Superboy if you were given a chance? Um, I wouldn't have tried to make him so much like '90s Superboy. Like you know, kind of in the way where like I don't. I would have. First of all, okay, this kind of changes like how you do the whole thing. I would have made a big event out of Connor's existence. You know, kind of like the Young Justice TV show in a little bit. Um, that's probably why I like the Young Justice TV show a lot. It takes a lot of ideas from the New 52 and like makes them work. I think. Um, but yeah, no, like I would have. I would have made Connor like instead of like a mainstay on the Teen Titans. I would have had like a whole event built up around Connor's existence, and Connor like being the clone Superboy. Um, like, is he a threat? Is he a friend? Who knows? Um, but I don't know. I also would have done. I do really like what they did with the relationship between Connor and Kara, where like Kara doesn't like him because he's a clone and she's racist. But that's to be fair, Kryptonians have a whole sordid history with clones, which I really like. That was like an aspect of like the pre-crisis material by John Byrne that was like picked up and like retained. But I don't know. I wouldn't have done Connor the way they did Connor in the New 52. That's all. Also, I would have given him his leather jacket because his leather jacket's cool. But I would have kept the Tron suit. I think the Tron suit is dope. Tron suit plus leather jacket, perfect. I think. Supreme says it's kind of weird because fans tend to prefer Steph and Cass friendship way more than Tim Steph romance. No, I like Steph and Cass's friendship. But I think maybe this is like heresy, but this is the ship that I will like absolutely have no problem going down with. I still ship I almost said Tim Drake. No, I don't. That's gross. Tim and Cass are like brother and sister legally. I still ship Connor and Cassie. I still ship Supergirl, Batboy, Cassandra, Connie. Connie's a good couple's name, right? Yeah, Connie works. I ship Connie. I still ship Connor and Cassie. I think they're that's just a ship that just never properly took sail, got teased, and then just dropped. I still like it. Oh, Linda Park West. Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay, so she did hyphenate her name. Cool. Supreme Omega says, also on Steph, thoughts on her being Batgirl in the Morrison run. I dislike that Cass got sidelined. However, it could have been worse because Fabian Nicieza wanted to turn her into a supervillain. Yeah, I don't like that idea. I don't know what they were thinking at the time. And I did not like Stephanie as Batgirl for that reason. Like the whole Cassandra becoming like the leader of the League of Assassins, I thought was terrible. And then Stephanie becoming Batgirl because of Cassandra abandoning the Batgirl mantle. I've been told the Brian Q. Miller run is really good, but I yucked out of it because I was disgusted, like disgusted with how Cassandra was treated. Like I hated it. So I may be unfairly pass judgment on that whole era where Stephanie is Batgirl. And I've never read it. Like I've never read it, but maybe it's good. You know, I don't know. That's definitely something I'll have to give a shot in the near future. Toby says, at least the good news is Tom Taylor's Adventures of Superman book is the last death nail to the son of Kal-El. Well, it's not a death nail. It's just getting a... They're just changing the name of the title. It's still the same book. Tom Taylor's still writing Son of Kal-El. It's just a different title. It's like a relaunch, essentially. Toby says, Bendis ruined everything with Superman, and it drives me crazy that DC won't undo the changes that they did to the Super Family. Well, they kind of are. Like, the big change that they're not, like, doubling back on is the John Kent age up. But I don't see how that would ever be undone. It's just a lot of PR crap that's in there. it would be a bad look to have this big stink, this big fuss, this big chutzpah about John Kent, you know, the son of Superman, who's now Superman in his own right, comes out as LGBTQ. And then just immediately roll that back and go like, actually, no, he's a little kid again. He's over there. That would be bad. That would be very, very bad. But aside from that, like all the other status quo changes are being put back in the bottle. Like the secret identity is coming back, which by the way is shouldn't have fucking left in the first place. Like the whole point of Superman is that like the Superman, the S with the I'm Superman. That is a character that Clark Kent is playing. It's not who he is. Clark Kent is a dude from Kansas. He's just a regular guy, and Superman's a role that he plays, making Superman like the. Actually, it's a dirty little secret, and I'm tired of hiding in the. What a fucking profound misunderstanding of the character Superman, but sure, whatever. DC let him do that, but now it's being undone. That's being undone. You know, the identity is going back in the bag. You know, also, you're gonna have Clark and Lois. Oh, I think something got fucked up with my stream. Oh, I think my internet fucked up. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I think I lost a lot of y'all for a second. But yeah, no. But yeah, like a lot of the Bendis stuff is being like kind of like thrown out. It's just the John Kent being a kid thing that's not really. Yeah, but again, I don't know how you. I don't know how you rectify that at this point. You just don't. Best thing is to do is just kill him, and then just have like Connor step in his shoes and go like, "Well, I guess I'm the new Superman. I'm the new Superman." You can do that, but yeah. For a second, I thought they were gonna get Jack Black from Mario. That could weirdly work though. Like I can weirdly see that working. I mean, I love him as Bowser, but like as Mario, this is actually not bad. It's not bad casting. All right, I've been going for like an hour and 48 minutes. I think it's been a while. Let me kind of like talk about some of the books that I got before I hop off on here. I got like a bunch of fucking books too. Like this. I mean, granted, this is like books from like last week and this week. So it's a bit of a haul, but I don't know. There's definitely a lot of cool stuff that came out. I saw that this book caused Twitter to like shit its pants and like drop off a cliff. I read it, and I gotta be honest with you. I don't. Okay, I see the big deal. I see the problem. I see why people don't like it. But fuck them. Sorry, Jerry Duggan did a great job with this book. I thought it was great. And here's why I'm in that camp. I am not a fan of the like Batman animated series redux of Mr. Freeze, or much rather, I like it for the animated series because I think it works for the animated series because Mr. Freeze isn't a major character in that show because he was voiced by like a big name Hollywood actor, so they didn't have the money to keep bringing him back. But the whole thing with like Nora, and like his wife being sick and he needs to commit crimes because he capitalism's the enemy. I think that's a good idea, and it works really well for the show. In a way, it does not work for comics, because the problem with Mr. Freeze in comics is, okay, if you want to run with the whole Nora backstory, how does that explain all of his actions, like, over the past, like, 40, 50, 60 years? You know? Like, if the problem is his wife is sick and an evil billionaire is, like, holding her treatment hostage, you know what the simple solution to that is? It's the resolution to that arc in Batman and Robin, the movie by Joel Schumacher. You have George Clooney Batman just go like, hey, I'm Bruce Wayne, and your wife is sick. You gotta go to jail. You gotta go to Arkham because you murdered a bunch of people and you're like kind of a domestic terrorist. But I can totally bankroll your wife's treatment and everything's fine, right? And then beyond that, like, Mr. Freeze has no incentive to be a villain anymore. But that doesn't really work within comics, because in comics you have to bring some of these villains back because we want to see Batman fight his iconic rogues gallery, and Mr. Freeze is one of those iconic rogues. So the idea of taking the sick wife, like, origin, the sick wife storyline, and like twisting it, making it so that Victor's like a fucking, he's always been a psycho, he's always been like a just a terrible person, and now that Nora is terminally ill and in his care, and she's in a coma that he put her under, he can do whatever the hell he wants with her because he like owns her, and he's like really obsessed with the idea of her before he actually cares about her as a person. I think that's perfect. I think that, it's the thing I always like to say, let bad guys be bad guys. It's okay to allow bad guys to be bad guys. So yeah, no, I really fucked with this. And it kind of sucks that Jerry Duggan got like run off Twitter, but I don't know. I thought this was dope, and also the art's really cool by Matteo Scalera. So this was cool. I dug it. And I guess I'm like one of, or I guess no, not one of. I guess I am the one person who really dug that book. But yeah, it'd be like that. I also picked up this book Onyx. This is kind of weird. This is like a whole like anthology for like a totally new character. For Image. I think there might be like a new series coming out, which is like why this was, I guess released. But this was dope. It was kind of like it reminded me of Heavy Metal in a weird way, but like Heavy Metal post Invincible. It's like the best way I could describe it. Yeah, this comic's really cool. I dug it. It's space swords and in armor, and it's chicks in alien armor fighting aliens. It's cool. I dug it. I liked it. I'm a simple man. I see hot chicks. I see alien space weapons, and I see hot chicks in space with alien armor and weapons fighting aliens, and I buy it. I think it's cool. I'm a man of simple taste. Uh, I also picked up Calo Returns this week. Really solid issue. Like everything that is Superman is in this book. This is just the ultimate Superman like comic book. You see Superman and his relationship with his son. You see Superman and his and also there's like a cool like image of Superman and John. It's really dope. Like a 90-year-old John. But yeah, no, you just get all the hallmarks. You know, Superman in his relationship with his family, and his relationship with the Justice League, and Superman in his relationship with Jimmy Olsen, Superman in his relationship with Lois. The art's really kind of like fun and cool. You know, I dig this kind of like comic booky art here, but you also have like the more kind of, I guess, modern like actiony art in here, and okay, first of all, just pointing this out, this first story right here with Batman and Superman, where Batman and Superman are like reuniting for the first time in like a year, I think it's been since Superman left World. I can tell Mark Waid wrote this because this has some Doom Patrol shit in it, and Mark Waid is just like the ultimate simp for Doom Patrol. You got like Mr. Nobody here. You know what? Okay, for the love of God, just give Mark Waid a goddamn Doom Patrol book. That's all that man wants. Mark, like, he'll write Batman, he'll write Superman, he'll write Justice League, but wait, what Mark Waid really wants is a goddamn Doom Patrol book. You can always tell he's always putting the Doom Patrol stuff in here. But you know, I absolutely love the story. It's really cool, and I love the ending of it too, where Bruce and Clark are hanging out in Bruce's brownstone because Bruce is poor now, I guess. Even though I'm sure that's gonna get that status quo is not gonna stick around for very long. But yeah, no, I'm really liking this book. This is great. The current era of Superman continues to be fantastic, and yeah, this is really cool. Up next, we got Vanish. This came out last week by Ryan Stegman, Ryan Stegman and Donnie Cates. This is the Daniel Warren Johnson cover, I believe. I've been loving those Daniel Warren Johnson covers. They're just pure sex. And yeah, just Vanish continues to be really cool. It continues to be like really this book's just dynamite. Like it just it's great. I don't know like what else to say. It's Harry Potter meets the boys, and those two flavors of ice cream make a baby, and I like the flavor baby. Oh god, that sounds bad. That's like some like Robert Scully type shit. Never mind. But anyways, I like the two flavors of ice cream that come together with like Jesus fuck Christ, what's wrong with me? I like the flavors of ice cream that this like horrifying book brings together of the boys and Harry Potter. I think it's really cool. And also I guess look up Robert Scully if you want like suffering in your life, you know, because unfortunately we don't live in the world of Men in Black where we have neuralizers. We just have to sit with our pain. But yeah, no, this book's dope. I will say though, this is cool, and it ends with the reveal of, I guess, this universe's version of evil Superman. But I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. As much as I like this book, as much as I'm really enjoying it, this is the last motherfucking time I want to see. What if the superheroes, the Justice League, were evil? This is the last time I want to see that. The last time. My patience is worn like ineffably thin with this idea. Like if evil superheroes is like some sort of like magical elastic like foreskin, it stretches this far, right? And so far it's been stretched this far. Like it's thin, man. It's thin. I'm tired of it. Like we don't. Why does every Superman pastiche have to be evil? You know? Why does every time we do like superheroes but not really, why do we have to default to evil? Why can't you just have fucking like superheroes hanging out and being a hot mess? I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. Fucking, I don't know. It's just enough with evil superheroes. I think we're done with you're done. It's over. It's worn out its welcome at this point. I'm fucking tired of it. That said, Vanish is great, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Vanish fight evil Superman. That'd be cool. And lastly, ow, fuck, that hurt. Lastly, god damn it, I did it again. Didn't change anything. Lastly, I got the final installment of the Man of Steel hardcover reprints. This is Superman by John Byrne, and Jerry Ordway and Carl Kessel and John Beatty, but Superman by John Byrne. This is the this is like the final installment in that series. This has the Supergirl saga, like on the back, and this is like the last arc that Byrne does. But yeah, I'm really excited to like reread some of this. I've been rereading the Byrne Man of Steel series, which I have in hardcover. I just got to volume 2 of that, and it's really good. Spoiler alert: John Byrne's Superman's dope, or like the Byrne era of Superman's dope. There's some stuff here and there that I kind of like resist, but I don't think that's Byrne's fault. That's more like an editorial decision, I think. Like I don't like some of the stuff around DC Legends, but a lot of the stuff in DC Legends, okay, DC Legends as like a story is really just John Ostrander writing like a backdoor pilot for his revamp of the Suicide Squad. I think a lot of people missed that. Also, shocker, Dark Knight Returns came out like the year prior and it was really popular. So yeah, there's gonna be some callbacks to Dark Knight Returns in that, which don't paint Superman in a positive light, but that's the marketing end of comics, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to jump into some of this material and reread it. And yeah, them's the books that I got over the past 2 weeks. And I don't want to think about how much it costs. Let's see. Supreme says, I do feel like Steph shined best as spoiler because the Robin thing felt like a cruel stunt to set up War Games. And the whole Batgirl thing felt like an overcorrection. I can definitely see that read. I'd have to read a lot of that material, like, like, I have to, like, once over it all, but yeah, I can see that being the case. DC tends to do that a lot. Toby says, I do have a solution to get back my boy John Kent to his 10-year-old self, and that's have the John Kent that we have now be an imposter from Earth 3, and the real John Kent's in like a stasis tube. I see what you're doing. It's just again it would really be bad optics, like really it would really be bad optics. Tevia says, My Hero Academia does heroes right, whereas the heroes be heroes. Kind of. My Hero Academia has a weird take on superheroes, where like the superheroes work for like agencies. It's My Hero Academia feels kind of like a PG version of, or I guess PG-13, like a very light PG-13 version of Mark Millar and Brian Hitch's The Ultimates. In a weird way, like that's a universe with The Ultimates, but also Superman exists in that world. It's very fascinating. Yeah, but like I don't know, the Japanese have like like an interesting like I guess notion of what superheroes are. That's like a little different from the American idea of superheroes. And I think they're both like very fascinating. It's just that they're different. But yeah, no, man, I'm definitely still a big fan of My Hero Academia, even though I'm like not caught up on the anime and the manga at all anymore. So what's your solution to please both sides with giving us John Kent Superboy? Well, my solution is just like straight up black pilled. I would just kill John Kent. I'd just kill him. I wouldn't even like waste time doing like a whole like death of Superman kind of thing. I just kill him. Just get rid of him. And then you have Jeff Connor step up to the plate and be like, I'll be the new Superboy man. Superman boy. Yeah. That's what I'd do. Which pleases nobody. Except for Young Justice fans. Yes, give up. That's what I did. Just give up. Just give up on the whole character. Just broken beyond repair at this point. You can't fix it. Just, yeah. Supreme says, on Steph being Robin, it felt out of character because Steph doesn't really care that much about Bruce. The only Bat fam she cared about was, or cared about as spoiler, was Tim, Cass, and Oracle. She and Bruce have nothing in common. I will play devil's advocate though. I think that was kind of maybe the point of that material from what little I've read of it, but I don't know. It's also just like a weird move. Like why? I don't know. But again, I haven't read that stuff for like 20 years, so I have no idea. But it's always been a weird like move to me. I guess I never really got the logic there. Yeah, I don't know. We've been going for like 2 hours, so I guess like we can call it one for this episode. Guys, thank you so much for showing up. I loved it. I love talking to you guys every week. Also, thanks for the new people who showed up. You know, it was really cool. Derpy, shout out to Derpy. Welcome to the channel. Like, this is your first time coming by. Awesome. Great to meet you. Thanks Supreme. Thanks Adam. Thanks Jaya, thanks. Eat some oranges. Thanks everybody for coming by. Thanks for showing up. Thanks. Oh, god damn it, 616. Wow, you showed up at the end. Great. Unless you're like just now like typing, you like been lurking the whole time. But what's up, man? I'm wrapping up though. Yeah, thanks guys for showing up. It's been a great show. And oh, please, 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 pretty, please. I still have in the chat the GoFundMe for Peter David. So definitely, if you can, donate to Peter David's GoFundMe. It would just it would really fucking suck to just have another comic book legend pass away needlessly, because like nothing was really done to help them. So yeah, I donated earlier, and if you can, just, please donate. Yeah, in the late work shift. It'd be like that, bro. I feel you. But yeah, guys. In the meantime, take care. Good luck, Godspeed, with the force be with you. Love y'all. And as always, until next time. Adios, nachos. Adios.